Greetings to our lecturer, Dr. Juna, and fellow friends. I am Anissa, the moderator today. Dear audience, today's forum topic is divided into questions. In the first question, the panel will list the order of priority, 1 highest and 3 lowest, for a source of knowledge in common sense. In the second question, the panel will explain the weakness of priority based on the key concept of objective knowledge, empiricism. Before I start the forum today, I would like to introduce our panel members to the audience ons. The first panel member is Izwani, the second panel member is Asira, the third panel member is Diana, and the last panel member is Edith. Before I ask the question to the panelists, allow me to cover a little about this forum question. What is the common sense? Common sense is the refer to using practical and sound judgment based on the experience and observation in everyday situation. The source of knowledge in common sense is typically based on the personal experience, observation, and interaction with the world around us. Alright, my question to the first panel is Wani. Can you give the highest priority source of knowledge in common sense? Please welcome.
Thank you, the moderator. I am going to talk about the most important aspect, which is the highest priority of common sense. An American philosopher by the name of Arthur E. Murphy held the view that the capacity to gain knowledge via experience was the single most important aspect in the development of human intellect. On the other hand, I had want to point out that common sense is both typical and reasonable. That is to say, persons are able to readily observe and comprehend views that are grounded in common sense, and this belief can be easily observed. Thank you.
Thank you, Izwani, for the answer given a while ago about the highest priority source of knowledge in common sense. Next, I continue my question to the second panel, Asira. Asira, can you give the lowest priority to the source of knowledge in common sense? Please welcome.
Okay, thank you, the moderator. So now I would like to talk about lowest common sense. It's especially weak in responding to the unknown or unexpected. And because it focuses on the past, common sense lack vision for the future. People comfortable with common sense response may not apply the effort required to appropriately analyze and solve problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Asira, for the answer you have given. For the third panel, can you provide another lowest priority source of knowledge in the common sense? Please welcome.
Thank you, moderator. What is seen as common sense in one culture or community may not be the same in another because the world is subjective and culturally dependent. Common sense, however, generally favors effectiveness and pragmatism above hypothetical or abstract issues. As a result, actions or behaviors that are declared unnecessary or ineffective may be viewed as low priorities from a common sense point of view. For instance, excessive leisure time or participation in activities that do not advance one's survival or well-being may be viewed from the standpoint of common sense as lower priorities. However, it is important to recognize that common sense can vary greatly depending on the individual and cultural perspective, and what is viewed as being of low relevance in one setting may be highly regarded in another. That's all from me.
Thank you, Diana, for your answer. For the fourth panel edits, can you give another lowest priority source and knowledge in common sense?
Okay, thank you. So another lowest part of common sense is not necessarily supported by actual evidence or scientific principle, which might result in misunderstanding about how the world functions. Common sense can be a good start when trying to comprehend the world, but should not be the only source of knowledge. Instead, it should be supported by other types of knowledge and research, such as empirical research and critical thinking. Thank you.
Thank you to our panel members for being willing to answer the question for this first question. Next, we will go to the second question. What is the weakness of priority based on the key concept of objective knowledge empiricism? Empiricism is the philosophical approach emphasizing the importance of experience and observation. Empiricism is closely associated with objective knowledge because it emphasizes the importance of empirical evidence in acquiring knowledge. Empirical evidence is based on the direct observation or experience and is considered an aim because others can independently verify it. Alright, for this question, I request all panel to present a view on the weakness of objective knowledge empiricism. We start with the first panel, Izwani, followed by the Asira, Diana and Edith. Please welcome.
Thank you, moderator, and I am going to talk about the weakness of empiricism on mathematical aspect. The first flaw that empiricism has is that it is useless when it comes to algebra, complex mathematics, which is a common criticism of the philosophy. Numerous mathematical equations cannot be demonstrated through sensory experience, primarily because imaginary number cannot be perceived as actual quantities. They are complex numbers that exist only in mathematics. Since empirical reasoning cannot prove such equation, rationalism is used to solve this problem. As the question requires only logic and the belief that something cannot be tested in the real world. This demonstrates the limitation of empiricism, as some cases required rational proof rather than empirical evidence. It cannot be used for algebra and complex mathematics. Some mathematical equations cannot be demonstrated using the empirism method. And there is no physical means to demonstrate the equation complexity through an observational experiment. Thank you.
Second, the weakness, some limitation of empiricism are that is subjective because it depends on people observation and it can only provide information about what people can observe. As such, if there are objects, for example in space or a small circle that one cannot observe, but one can reason about the empiricism will be limited in understanding this, while other approaches like rationalism will not. Aside from this, the limitation of human apply here as they will to other approaches, such as the inability of human to verify whether their observations are accurate. Thank you.
Okay, the other weakness of empiricism is that it can be difficult to apply it to certain types of knowledge. For example, abstract concepts like justice or happiness may be difficult to observe and measure directly, and thus may not fit well within an empiricist framework. Similarly, theoretical constructs in fields like physics or mathematics may not be directly observable, yet they are essential to our understanding of the world.
Last but not least, empiricism is unable to give life or direction. Although descriptive, the empirical approaches is not prescriptive. It cannot tell us what should be or how to behave. It only can tell us what is ethic, values, and life purpose beyond the realm of empirical knowledge. There are some elements of reality that cannot be observed or tested. It is possible that important metaphysics issues like reality, awareness, free will, and similar topics are not susceptible to empirical study. In conclusion, Empiricism main weakness it is limiting reliance on sensory experience as the only or main source of knowledge, and its failure to present a comprehensive picture of all available knowledge and reality. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you all panel for their respective view on the question. Before I finish, I represent the panel members and apologize for any shortcomings from our sides during this forum. In conclusion, knowledge in common sense and objective knowledge empiricism influence any research. That's all from us. Thank you so much. We hope to see you again.